I'm finna take it over.
Hello and welcome to Midnight Insight, the section of the channel where I will be talking, recapping, resuming, bullying the economy and its latest news. The news that you want to know, but you don't know because you're too busy. This is your late night coffin show of world economy, served with a twist of sarcasm and a sprinkle of actual insight. And yes, we all want to have a laugh, have a good time. Me myself, like I'm being very sarcastic and out of pocket, just let me get comfortable. But we're here for the insight, the knowledge, who want to know what's up, what's good with the economy and the stock markets, the politics that are going to influence your investments. I'm Nameless, and tonight we are diving into the 5 biggest headlines, moving the markets, shaking the suits, and confusing your uncle, who still thinks that gold is the only real currency. And I gotta say, like gold, you know what? You gotta hear this, my friend. So if you like the idea, please subscribe and like this video. Without further ado, let's go. Number 5. The European Union gearing up for a 100 billion trade tantrum. So, the US cussed it up with Japan this week. We'll get to that. But meanwhile, the European Union is over in the corner and sharpening its legal swords. They're threatening 100 billion countermeasures if the US doesn't play nice in trade talks. Bloomberg said the European Union plans to quickly hit the US with 30% tariffs on some 120 billion worth of goods in the event of no deal. And if US President Donald Trump carries through with his threat to impose that rate on most of the bloc's exports after August 1st. The head of the European Union and Donald Trump are set to meet this weekend to reach a deal. But if not, well, you already know. I just told you. So what can we learn from this? Global trade is basically a messy breakup. And as usual, consumers get caught in their crossfire. Number 4. Too many eggs in the mega cap basket. Here's a number that should make you blink. 37.3% of the S&P's 500 value now sits in just 10 stocks. Yes, you hear that right, just 10 stocks. Think about that. 10 companies like Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, the blue chip companies, are basically carrying the whole squad. This means even if one of those big boys stumbles, the market limps. Diversified index funds. This is more like a tech stock smoothie. This trend isn't new. Tech is becoming more and more popular, but this is now reaching levels of, is this still legal? Apparently Nvidia, which recently became the first company to top $4 trillion in market value, had as of Tuesday a 7.8% weight in the S&P 500. That is the most a single stock has ever accounted for in the index, topping the 7.7% that Apple reached last year. Michael Reynolds, Vice President of Investment Strategy at GlenMed, said, "When a handful of stocks dominate the markets, if you do have a period of disappointment from those stocks, you could see a disproportionate impact on your portfolio from just a handful of company-specified issues. So, as you may already know, better play the long term." This is obviously not personal advice. Don't quote me. Number 3. Goldman Sachs warning of markets correction. According to Goldman, investors are throwing cash at the markets like it's Black Friday at Best Buy. Over 50 billion of inflows this month alone. Goldman says that might be a sign of a coming market correction. So, what does it mean? When everyone's partying like there's no recession tomorrow, it's usually time to shake the exits. Goldman isn't yelling fire yet, but they've definitely spotted some smoke. Number 2. Trump versus Powell. Round 3. Fight. President Trump is once again beefing with the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, accusing the Fed of being too independent. Apparently, Trump wants to lower interest rates faster, like now. Powell, meanwhile, is like, sir, inflation exists. The more this escalates, the more jittery the markets get. Why? It shakes investors' faith in long-term monetary policy. So these two need to get their act together. At least, don't let us know they're beefing, like, I don't know. I think people see this and panic. But whatever. What do you think about this? Do you think Powell has been doing a good job? He has been chairman for over 7 years. Do we need to replace him? Comment down below your opinion. Are you Trump side or Powell? Number 1. US and Japan trade deal. Big win, big drama. The US and Japan just struck a massive trade deal, dropping proposed tariffs to 15% and securing $550 billion in Japanese investments. That's pretty good. That includes the expanding on infrastructure, green tech, and yes, Boeing planes, because Japan apparently loves drama-free air travel and big planes. But here's the kicker. This deal is more than just a handshake. It's a strategic signal that the US is building economic alliances outside of China and Europe. Call it trade diplomacy 2.0. Now, with fewer threats and more sushi. So what can we learn from this? These are the key takeaways. Japan cut its bilateral trade friction with the US in exchange for a massive investment commitment. The 15% tariff rate on Japanese export is now the default US standard for several major trade partners. Economic and political momentum now pressures the EU to negotiate a similar agreement or risk retaliation. The US markets viewed the deal favorably. So that wraps your midnight insight. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want more updates without the financial anxiety. Stay sharp and stay late.